Okay, I hope everybody can see me. Um, I'm not sure if this is working like it's supposed to. Here on the SAMChannel, I'm using some new software so that I can push this out to uh, our SAM YouTube page. Our SAM channel is what we're calling it. I see people coming in now. All right, good. Um, and we have chat. We have chat here. So when you type in a comment, I'll be able to see it, and you'll be able to see it right there in the upper right hand. There you go. Okay, there is Lisa Beatty saying, I can see and hear you. Thank you, Lisa. So when you guys pop in, just, your name will pop up, but you can tell me where you're from, and I will try to answer as many questions as I possibly can about this impending ice storm. It has been upgraded to an ice storm for the SAM 100.7 listening area. So that includes all of southern Kentucky and parts of southeastern Kentucky. We think now that is going to be pretty much the danger zone for ice. And I am using the term ice storm, and so is the National Weather Service. I was on a conference call with them around 1 o'clock, and they decided to upgrade the winter storm watch to an ice storm warning. Now, I know the first thing on your mind is this going to be like what we had in 2009? Some of you folks up in Grayson County and Butler County, Litchfield, Morgantown, over toward Muhlenberg County, you know what just an awful, awful ice storm that was. This is not going to be that. This is going to be, yes, it is going to impact trees and power lines with about a tenth to a quarter inch of ice, and in some cases, maybe higher. Enough to cause some power outages, enough to cause trees to come down on the power lines. It is not going to happen today. It is not going to happen tonight, but it is going to happen tomorrow, especially tomorrow night into Thursday. So I see Rachel on here, my beautiful daughter, Rachel. Amy's here, Kim, Brian Webb. Brian Webb is on here watching. And what we're doing is, what I'm trying to do is to do this in a way where we can, I'm using brand new software. We've never used it before. I thought this would be a good trial run for any other severe weather events that are coming, which we know they are. We're going into spring. I'm taking all of my 40 years of weather knowledge plus 31 years of television at BKO, and I'm bringing it here to SAM. So this SAM channel on YouTube is going to become the hub, if you will, for all severe weather. Yes, it will still push out to Facebook, Facebook Live, which we're on as well. But I want our YouTube channel, SAMChannel BG. SAMChannel BG is where you should be watching the most videos from now on. So I'm still very much entrenched in the weather community. I have very close relationships with people at the National Weather Service, Nashville, Paducah, and Louisville, all three Weather Service offices. Some of the guys and gals that work there at those three offices are personal friends of mine. And just because I'm not doing TV anymore doesn't mean those friendships are broken. So if anything else, I get to bring all of that experience here on the radio, but taking the knowledge that I have with computer technology and software and kind of building a little TV video thing here at the radio station. YouTube and Facebook Live gives us that platform, so why not? And we know that there's going to be stormy weather on the way. So I see Sandy's in here, Angie and Jeff Pendleton. Yeah. So as I'm going to show you some graphics, show you some radars, we're going to go through this whole thing. I don't want to keep you a long time, maybe 30 minutes, okay, to explain everything. I know that you've got things to do, but while I had the chance, I wanted to give you just kind of a breakdown of what I'm looking at and what the Weather Service has told me, and then I'm going to pass that on to you. In fact, I'm going to switch the screens here. Let's see if this works. Oh, yeah. Beautiful. All right. This is the presentation that I just had from the National Weather Service about an hour ago. This is the update. The only thing that is not going to be up to date is this graphic right here where it says Winter Storm Watch. Most of our area has now been put under a an ice storm warning. From, if you were to go from Bowling Green to about Clarksville, and then kind of up 6880, the Cumberland Parkway, to just south of Lexington up to E-Town. This entire area, southeastern Kentucky, and now includes, in case you were wondering, lots of counties like Cumberland, Clinton, Wayne, the Monticello area, Somerset, Pulaski County is involved in that, all the way up to Berea, Danville, over to E-Town, down to Litchfield, Butler County, Morgantown, and then it kind of cuts off just west of Bowling Green. So even though this is all in blue and it says Winter Storm Watch, that has now been upgraded to a warning. And that is going to be, I wrote it down because they haven't updated their graphics yet, but that is now going to be from midnight until 6 p.m. on Thursday. So that's a pretty good stretch, and that's the concern. And here you see in this graphic, right here to the left, 72-hour probability of ice accumulations of a quarter inch or greater. And you can, there's Bowling Green, and the higher percentage, it's about 80% chance that bullseye of the greatest ice accumulations of up to a quarter inch, maybe more, is right there from southwestern Kentucky through the Bowling Green area and into the central bluegrass. So this is where we have our greatest concern of ice accumulating enough to cause some power outages and things like that. So my concern is that this could be a situation where we might not see that much accumulation on the roadways, but mostly on what we call elevated surfaces. And by elevated surfaces, I mean, like trees, power lines, your vehicles, and not so much down at the road. What we've got is a situation where we've got an abundant amount of Gulf moisture coming in, and it's warm. The problem is we have been sitting on some cooler air. It's not the coldest it's going to get yet, but when you have warmer air above and you've got colder air at the surface on the trees and the power lines, well, that warmer air with the moisture is going to come down as rain. But then when the surface is colder than the air above you, it's going to freeze on contact. And that's why we call it freezing rain and sleet. It all depends on how deep that cold, shallow layer of air is. If we had cold air from the surface all the way up, or at least just above us, then it would be snow. But we're not going to see that. As a matter of fact, the folks at the National Weather Service said this looks to be not only just an 80% chance that this is happening, but it's closer to 100%. In other words, they are very certain about this. This is not going to be one of those situations where there's a bust potential and it's just going to go away and it's just going to be all rain. I know we've got some naysayers and we've got some doubters out there, but I wouldn't be coming on and doing this if I thought it was that, because you know me, I'm not about the hype. I've never been about the hype. My no height, no bull forecast is straightforward. And I wouldn't be doing this to help get you prepared for something that's probably not going to happen. Um, as you know, I'm usually one of the late ones to pull a trigger to say, all right, we need to pay attention to this. This is a situation we've got to prepare for. And that's key because if we don't prepare for this, you're going to be caught off guard with the potential for your power going out. Are you prepared for that? Now, it doesn't mean you've got to go out and buy a heater. It doesn't mean you got to go out and do all this stuff and a generator and all that. But it does mean that you need to be prepared right now before this event begins to have an alternative heat source, to have your devices like your phone and your iPads and things like that powered up and ready to go just in case you lose power, which is a possibility. And I'm talking more tomorrow night and Thursday instead of tonight. Now, tonight we will begin to see some light precipitation move in, and toward morning we will get to that in just a minute. Okay, looking here, just seeing Vanessa. Thank you for watching. Loretta is in the bunch. Brian, thank you. Darlene, Sarah. She's asking about Somerville. Now, I'm not going to get into specific towns. I will just tell you this. Let's just blanket everybody here. Anyone which is, any of you in the sound of my voice is going to get something. You're either going to get a lot of sleet or a lot of freezing rain and very little snow. The snow part of this is going to be further north, and I'll show you on a graphic here. As we get into this time, I'll switch back over here and we look at these graphics. Let me go down to this next one. Okay. And this graphic, I'm waiting on a new update from the Weather Service on this one. But see this broken area, this broken line area that's mainly I-71, 75, up towards Seymour, Indiana, including Louisville, north of E-Town. That area is where 1 to 2 inches of snow, in addition to ice, is more probable. You see the red zone here, and that cuts right through Bowling Green, E-Town, Litchfield, Clarkson, Hodgenville, on down to Munfordville, Bowling Green, Brownsville, Morgantown. We go east toward Greensburg, Campbellsville, even Adair County, even though it's maybe slightly less. And we are looking at less amounts down here across the Lake Cumberland area. It's just the way the swath of moisture is going to set up, and it's going to go from southwest to northeast. But the problem is it's going to be a prolonged period of time. We're talking about starting late tonight back here in parts of western Kentucky, Paducah, Mayfield, Murray, Land Between the Lakes. It'll start moving in toward morning as we get up the I-69 corridor, the Western Kentucky Parkway around Madisonville, Earlington, down to Crofton, maybe Christian County, Hopkinsville. And then as the day progresses, it should change back to all rain. Okay? That will save us a little bit. But as the temperatures now, colder air is coming in on the backside of this with the moisture still here. That's concerning. And this is why the ice storm warning went up, because now we're looking at this swath of red, 1/4 to 1/2 inch. That's what that means down here on the key. You see this key down at the bottom, right along the Western Kentucky Parkway, I-69, the Bluegrass Parkway, Natcher I-65 and 65 itself, then the Cumberland Parkway. This is where we're looking at greatest potential for icing. Starting early in the morning before it switches to rain, there will be some, but I don't think it's going to be that impactful until we get into tomorrow night and Thursday. But some locations, red zone, which is us, could see potentially 1/4 to 1/2 inch of ice. The snow is going to be further north. We may see some snowflakes, but this event is not about snow. It's about ice. You can look at the confidence levels here. The Weather Service has put this out, and I agree with it. Snow accumulations, moderately or medium confidence there for that off to the north of us. Ice accumulations, confidence is high. It's rare that we see that. Winter storm impacts, in other words, impact on roads, impact on trees and power lines, it's also high and may even go a little bit higher in both of these categories because of now the ice storm warning. Again, they're working on new graphics, should have those updated a little bit later. As soon as I get them, I will post them. Now, let's talk about the timing. Okay. Now, the time looks like, as I mentioned, tonight after midnight, a wintry mix across southern Indiana, central Kentucky. Not so much us, but off to the maybe a tenth of an inch of ice accumulations there. It is tomorrow when the ends, and especially tomorrow night and Thursday. Now, this is Wednesday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., a wintry mix across southern Indiana. For us, as you see down here, mainly rain south of the Cumberland Parkway. But in the middle, again in that red zone, right here, ice accumulations, maybe a tenth to 15 hundredths of an inch north of the Cumberland Parkway. But with each new model run, we're seeing that red zone area slip a little more south. I think it's pretty much where it's going to be, but it could fluctuate just a little bit more, either north or south, or pretty much stay put where you see it. Okay, back up here, this graphic. There's the red zone. It may shift a little further south, or it may shift a little further north, but I think this is pretty much the way it's going to be, with the worst of the icing between the Western Kentucky Bluegrass Parkways and the Cumberland Parkway, which is right there, and 6880. Okay. Now, as we get into tomorrow night, some of you will see a wintry mix, freezing rain, sleet, and snow, and it could come down pretty good. Some of you can remember a time when you've seen sleet, little ice pellets down like rain. That's a possibility. Some of you may just see rain and think, oh, it's okay, everything's rain. But by that time, tomorrow night, temperatures will be cold enough to where that rain will freeze on contact. And that's when we start seeing ice accretion. And what that means is it's like ice that you put in your freezer. You know, it's kind of like where you put the ice, ice cubes, if you still do that, or your freezer fills up with water. It's connected to the water line, and you've got the ice maker. Okay, so the cold air the cold water goes into your ice maker, and then it starts to freeze and build and build, and it builds those ice cubes. Ice accretion, that's what's going to happen, and we're seeing the rate of ice accretion tomorrow night into Thursday being rapid enough to where we will start to see a glaze on, well, sidewalks, roads, cars, but especially where you got to watch it is trees and power lines, because the weight of that ice accretion, as it continues to build and build and build and collect, it's going to weigh down on any loose tree branches and things like that, and that could cut your power. That's ultimately what happens, is we tree branches down on a transformer or power line, and bada bing, bada boom, there goes your power. So you need to be prepared for that. Also be prepared for hazardous driving conditions, because I think we will have that tomorrow night. Not so much tonight, and really, I'm not too concerned about that tomorrow. I think if you still need to go to the store or you need to do something tomorrow during the day, I think you're going to be okay. But it's the closer we get to this time of day, after 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, from west to east, excuse me, that's when we're going to begin to see problems moving Okay, so ice accumulations, a tenth to a quarter inch, the Kentucky and Bowling Green parkways, and the Cumberland Parkway. And now they have bumped that up with the ice storm warning to a quarter inch instead of a tenth of an inch to a half inch of ice possible. So keep in mind those numbers right there are now much higher. Around 1 inch of snow and sleet accumulations, mainly north of the Bowling Green Parkway. That's not us. That's why I said don't make this about snow, because we might not see any. We could see a little bit on the backside of this thing, but I don't think we're going to see much of any at all. We may see a few snowflakes toward the end of this thing on Friday. Now, here's Thursday, midnight, all day. Wintry mix and snow in from northwest to southeast by Thursday night. So we're talking about a 24-hour period in which we could see this winter mix or just all sleet or just all freezing rain and very little of snow. And then you got your ice accumulations, again, bump that up to 25 to a quarter inch to a half inch of ice accumulations across central Kentucky, another 1 to 2 inches of snow north of the. I think we've established that, but there's your timeline. And notice the confidence here is in the high category, according to the National Weather Service and me. I concur. All right, let's talk about the overview and impacts. Again, the greatest accumulations of snow, sleet, and freezing rain will occur tomorrow evening through Thursday evening. That's a 24-hour period of where you could see a mix of everything. Freezing rain, sleet, snow, rain. It doesn't matter. Once it gets cold enough, it's all going to stick on the trees and the power lines. The greatest accumulations, as I mentioned, between the western Kentucky and Bluegrass Parkways and the Cumberland Parkway to the south. That includes Bowling Green, that includes Glasgow, that includes Edmonton, so forth and so on. And to the west, it includes Russellville and Elkton and Hopkinsville. All just kind of draw a line, 6880 to the west, through Bowling Green, all the way out the Cumberland Parkway. Anywhere north of there is where we could see the worst accumulation of ice, unless that changes. And look at this. Cold temperatures will persist in the next week. Yeah, we're going to see some cold air. The forecast calling for Sunday night, Monday morning with wind chills potentially below zero. And I was looking at the updated models, and we're talking about temperatures over the coming weekend, highs in the 20s and 30s, lows in the teens. So that means anything that happens tomorrow night, Thursday night, is not going to melt away. We may get a little bit of sun coming in. You get enough radiation from the sun to melt some maybe pavement, ice on pavement, and maybe start to see some of the ice drip off of the trees and power lines. But it's going to refreeze with those kind of temperatures. So this is not going to melt away very quickly. That's another thing to keep in mind. So that is what I'm seeing at the moment. Let me change graphics here, and let me see if I can get you into this next graphic, which I've got up here. And reminder, any questions that you have, ask them away, and I will do my best to answer those for you, okay? All right, I want to go to this graphic. This is from the National Weather Service. This is the new ice storm warning, county by county. And you can see very much there's Bowling Green, Hopkinsville, Campbellsville, E-Town, Lexington, Somerset, Corbin. All the purple shaded counties are the ice storm warning which goes into effect um, tomorrow. All central a long time. Again, a 4-hour period. Not going to be reminiscent of the 2009 ice storm or 1994. Remember that one? Oh, I remember that one. I remember 2009, but remember in 2009, it didn't affect Bowling Green so much as it did Butler County, Grayson County, and on up that way toward the parkways. It was devastating there. We didn't hardly get anything here. 1994 was the worst ice storm I've seen in my lifetime. That's the one that crippled Bowling Green, shut down the interstates and the parkways. There was some snow. We had remember the house that exploded downtown Bowling Green, the gas line that ruptured, blew up that house. It became a national story. 1994. I will never forget that one. But no, this is not going to be on the scale of 2009. Alicia Nichols just asked that question. So thank you for asking that question. Now, if I don't reply back here, I am seeing all your comments. Just know that I'm going to try to answer those. This is the time for questions and answers right now for this time being. And then, of course, for those of you that don't know, I do an update on SAM every morning on not just the radio, but also on Facebook. And now I've got updates that are going to bowlinggreensam.com. That's our website. This is the first step in connecting all of our stuff together into what we call the SAM channel. Okay. I know it's not television, but hey, we've got the resources to do video and we're going to use them. We've got resources to do better job of updating you on our social media platforms. What we're doing right now is getting all that stuff together where you can just go right in there and find everything you need. And I'm going to be doing more of these kind of updates on the SAMCam whenever severe weather threatens. So you can count on that for sure. This is, like I said, a good test run to see if everything's working. It looks like it is. Let's see here. Looking for questions. Yeah, Paducah, been in coordination with them. They just upgraded to an ice storm warning as well. Let's see. Thank you, Rhonda. Alicia is in here. Kathy, Carly, Tina. I see you all. Edwin, Becky. Some of you are on Facebook, and some of you are on our new YouTube page, our YouTube channel, which is SAMChannel BG. You got the link to it that I sent out about this live update. Alicia asked about the ice storm of 2009. I just answered that one. Okay, Alicia is asking also in 2009 in Bowling Green, we lost power for 3 days. Still be prepared, and it's a relief like it's not going to be 2009. Yeah. Laurie's asking about Brownsville. Again, individual cities. I think I covered that with this map right here. This map shows you everybody that is within the sound of my voice, which you see all these purple shaded counties. That's pretty much the SAM listening area. So if you are listening to me or watching me within the sound of my voice, you are under an ice storm warning. Okay. And that means the potential for ice accumulation is likely. Now that it's a warning, that means it is likely, and it does look like this is going to happen starting tomorrow to our west early in the morning, about the time I come in. I will start to see things on the radar back to the west coming this way. And temperatures will have everything to do with it. We've got a weather station here. I can monitor real time temperatures. We've got the Kentucky Mesonet. I can watch that. And I will watch that precipitation move in along with the changing temperatures. But you got to keep in mind, here's the thing that we've all got to keep in mind. This thing could still shift a little bit. And so if you wake up in the morning and you hear me talking about, well, it's just rain, I'm not getting any reports of freezing rain or sleet. Say, it's just going to bypass us. They got us worried for nothing. Well, first of all, I don't want to get you worried. I want to get you prepared. Okay. 99% of the time, I put on my goofy hat and I sit here and I do the radio show and play great music, joke around with you guys. But when it's serious, severe weather, I'm serious. I seriously hope that you get prepared to know what's coming so you're not caught off guard and go, well, Chris didn't say that the power was going to go out. Where'd that come from? Or he didn't say it was going to get that bad. Prepare for the worst and hope for the best. I don't know how many times, Lord, do I have to say? Thousands and millions and thousands over the 30, 40 years of my career. Just be prepared. And if you go to the store and you buy some stuff and you stock up and you have it at home, nothing happens. Hey, you're better prepared for the next time it happens. That's common sense. And I know that's something a lot of people don't understand these days, but I'm telling you, don't blow this off, because it's better that you're prepared for what could and does look like it will happen to somebody listening to me right now than to just blow it off and act like, geez, it's not going to happen. He's always blowing smoke or whatever. Okay, I could be wrong. And I will say if I'm wrong. But in my confidence in the National Weather Service and my own forecasting abilities, not saying that they're great, but I do have a lot of experience with this area. This one you need to pay attention to, okay? Because you need to be prepared for loss of power, not being able to get out and get food, not being able to get out of your driveway or down the road for maybe a 24-hour period, okay? That's just the bottom line. That's what we're looking at. That's not meant to scare anybody. It's just, I'm just putting it straightforward out there. The storm is shifting or has shifted a little bit, but as I said, I think we're pretty much online and in line for where you see it lining up here. And let me go back to, I want to go back to this other graphic. Let me pull away from that graphic there. And let me go back to this other one. The first one that I showed you. And because that one really does kind of outline the exact red zone area. And there it is. Let me, wait a minute. There it is. So if you're in that red zone, which does look to shift a little bit further south, but even in this orange and yellow area, you're still talking about accumulation or accretion of 1/10 of an inch to 1/4 inch. And then in the red zone, 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch. Think about it. 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch of ice on trees, on power lines, on the roads. Problem. And it does look like it is going to be a sure thing. Let's see here. Eric from Smiths Grove, thank you for watching. Chad, are they still calling for 1/10 to 1/4 inch of ice here or more now? Well, Chad, I don't know where here is or where you are. Maybe you could put your town and then I would know. Greg just commented on Facebook, when Chris Allen rolls them sleeves up, you better listen when it comes to the weather. Yeah, that's a good sign. Although I do, when this time of the year in the wintertime, I do wear my sleeves, long sleeve shirts. I still have to roll them up, but that's just me. But if I were on TV and I had the suit and tie on, which thank God I don't have to wear anymore. Thank the Lord I don't have to wear that anymore. Um, I would, unloosen the tie and roll up my sleeves. And that was a signal. Very good of you, Greg. You remember that. But no, sleeves are already rolled up, and I know this thing is coming. So, um, Chad, okay. Chad was asking the question: are they still calling for a tenth to a quarter inch of ice here? He said he's in Bowling Green. Yes, actually, they're calling now for a quarter inch to a half inch. They bumped it up. That's why we're now under the ice storm warning instead of the winter storm watch. So that's a sure sign right there. Let's see. Louisville has the new ice accumulation graphic up. Okay, let me check that real quick. Thanks for the heads up. Let's see here. Let me see if I can do that before I go. I would like to get that in here. A few things here. Let's see what happens. Yeah, they have updated some of their slides. A new update just came in. You guys can you hang around just a couple of more minutes? I know I've gone long here. Yeah. All right, let me switch over to the new updated presentation from the Weather Service. I got to get used to this software. I'll be quicker with it next time. No, that's not the one I wanted. Let me get rid of that one. Okay. This is the one I want. Here it comes. Bear with me. Okay. Here we go. Turn it on. And now you're seeing the new updated potential. Terry asking the question, is it supposed to start tonight or tomorrow night? Mainly for us, it's going to be tomorrow night. Okay. We will see some stuff west of us tomorrow. There's a look now at the updated graphic. All those purple shaded counties now correctly showing the iron warning. Okay. Bowling Green, E-Town, Campbellsville, Albany, all the way over. Winter storm watch west of us, Hopkinsville to Elkton, Todd County, Muhlenberg County, Hopkins County. Winter weather advisory to the north from Louisville to Frankfort and north. That's where the snow is going to be, okay? Now, expected ice accumulation. They're showing us about a half inch. That red area, it did move south. Now they're saying expected ice accumulation here, south of the Western Kentucky and Bluegrass Parkways and across the Cumberland Parkway. Now, notice how they've taken it across the Cumberland Parkway southward to the border. Ice accumulations of a quarter inch to 3/4 of an inch. That is an upgrade for sure. Now, that just raises the stakes even higher as far as impact, which we'll talk about here in a second. Here's your sleet and snow over here, less than an inch. Nothing. That's why I said don't worry about the snow. Oh, here we go. Now look. Look how far south it goes, all the way to the Tennessee border, the red zone, and now an even deeper red zone from Bowling Green out 6880, the Cumberland Parkway, more so through parts of northern Barron, southern Hart, all of Green, Taylor, Adair. Looks like much of the Somerset Pulaski County area on up toward Berea, I-75, London, Kentucky, Jackson. Ooh, that's not good. And look, the winter storm impact still high, ice accumulation still high. The confidence factor. But that's a bump up instead of a bump down and a shunt of that red zone further south. There's the Western Kentucky Parkway. There's the Western Kentucky Parkway as it meets up with I-69 into Western Kentucky. The Pennyrile. Yeah, you get the idea here. Looks like all of this is still the same. Overview and impact still the same. So, yeah, that's concerning now that area in red has been pushed further south and has really kind of gone up a notch. That's the newest update. Ooh. Jesse, what about towards 65? Yeah. All of 65 from the state border of Tennessee to E-Town is in danger of icing over. Even though I know the road crews are going to be out there doing what they can, it's still going to be tough. And again, this is tomorrow night, especially tomorrow night. Tomorrow, maybe late tomorrow afternoon, but especially tomorrow night into Thursday, all day Thursday. Melanie, do you think this will be as bad as the ice storm of 94? No, it will not. And it will not be as bad as 2009 either, but close. When we're talking about power outages and down trees and, things like that, yeah, that's your impact. That's where the impact is going to come from. We've got right here on Campbell Lane at the Sam Studios, we've got sun through the clouds. You are, again, before I leave you, you're good to go right now. You're good to go tonight, and you're good to go most of the day tomorrow. But tomorrow late afternoon, by the time you head home into tomorrow night, it's going to start happening. Now, if the moisture comes in a little sooner and the colder air comes in a little sooner than what I'm looking at right now, then that could move that timeline up just a bit. Okay? Just keep that in mind, that there's still some flexibility, there's still some wiggle room with this system, that we can't just pin it down exactly. This thing has been difficult to forecast anyway, but it's on the way. Tonight, Anita asking on Facebook, you're fine. Sandy said, folks need to remember what they put on the roads as a small window of working. That's true. And it depends on whether they're putting down salt rocks or they're putting down brine. The problem with brine is it can wash away if there's any rain, which we're going to get rain, but freezing rain. And I think it will protect the roads up until we drop to 28. Correct me if I'm wrong, highway folks, but I think that's the point where it just kind of stops working at 28 degrees. We won't be that cold tomorrow, but we will be tomorrow night, and just barely getting above freezing on Thursday. And that's the problem. When you've got that much moisture sitting on top of us with the temperatures that way, there's not much you can do. Salt, brine. After that, it's just scraping, So, again, prepared to not go much of anywhere or be able to go much of anywhere on Thursday. Maybe for some of you west of us tomorrow night. And then the possibility of losing power. Okay. So, all right. I think I've answered most of your questions. I've gone 45 minutes, 15 minutes longer than I wanted to, but thank you all. This was a great test. Thank you all for chiming in with your questions and your comments, Facebook and now YouTube. Mark that, subscribe to it. Okay. Right now, those of you watching on YouTube, SAMChannel BG, bookmark it, subscribe to it. That way, when you subscribe, it will send you a little pop-up or a little alert on your phone saying, Chris Allen's going to do some severe weather on YouTube. That will be our, what we call from now on, the SAM channel. That's why you hear me saying SAM channel forecast and only that, or all of that. So thank you for getting us through this first one. I will do an update again tomorrow. Probably the same setup that we've got right now at some point tomorrow. You can listen to my radio show in the morning, 6 to 10 on SAM 100.7 if you can pick us up off of antenna. If not, you can listen to me streaming live to our website, bowlinggreensam.com, and I'm going to keep things updated there as well. We've got a banner, a red banner at the top of the screen that says that. In fact, let me show you that just real quick, since I can do it now on this software, which allows me to go in and do that. It's the same place where you can listen to us in what we call the SAM player. Okay. Let me connect to that. Here we go. This is becoming a little easier now that I've done it a couple of times. Okay, here comes the SAM website, bowlinggreensam.com. And you see at the top, weather alert, winter storm watch through Thursday. I'm about to go in and update that to ice storm warning. And then you click this read more button over here, and it will take you to the information I just shared with you. Give me a few minutes, and I'll get that updated. Here's all the other stuff where you can listen live. That's how you can listen on your desktop, bowlinggreensam.com. Just click that listen live button right there that's flashing, and you can listen to us anywhere in the world. Okay. So I'll have that updated for you later, and you can listen to my show in the morning between 6 and 10, and I'll have the latest information there. And on social media, I always try to update social media about 4:30. Yes, I'm still getting up early. Don't worry about it. I'm an early bird. At least I'm not getting at 2 like I used to and have to put on the suit and tie, just look all spiffy. I can just dress like this now if I want to, which is cool. All right, guys, I got to go. I know you got to go too. Be safe out there. Updates still to come. God bless, and I'll see you later.